This segment of Panther Sports Talk is brought to you by CFU, the power of service.
Back here with UNI head wrestling coach Doug Schwab as we talk about the start of the college wrestling season. It's well underway, and you got a good group of seniors. Obviously, Dylan Peters, high expectations for that returning All-American, but collectively, as a group, you got a transfer in there, you got some other guys. What do you like about these seniors, Coach?
They're very stable. You know what I mean? They've been very consistent throughout their whole career, just in how they show up, how they take care of school, how they show up and work every day. When they go out and compete, man, they're consistent how they compete too. You know, and it hasn't been like this where it's rocky. Like, you know, where's this guy at? What's going on with him? They've been very consistent and had a lot of success too. You know, with it. So I know how these guys want to finish their careers, and I think having those young guys is it spurs them on too. You know, it gets them excited. Like, hey, you know, I kind of remember when we were there and how we felt about that. You know, they kind of getting, I think, some of that excitement back. It helps those guys too. You know, because we don't want to get guys where they're in their fifth year and they're kind of looking to punch the time clock and be done. You know, we want them to where they're still excited and, hey, man, I'm still a huge part of this team, even if I'm not the guy, you know. And that's kind of a challenge too for some of our guys that, you know, they get towards the end of their career and maybe they're not the guy. You know, how do you finish things out? And, you know, I talk to the guys a lot about finishing things the right way, you know, so there's no regret in that, hey man, you're still a huge part of this team no matter what. Even if you don't score points in the national tournament, the things that you give back to the team were, you know, we'll always be appreciative for, but also for you, you know, you want to finish things the right way. Because I think that's just indicative of how you're going to go about things in life too. You know, you don't want to just kind of limp your way through things. I talk about that a lot. You know, we want to finish things strong, and in that group of guys, I know, you know, most of them are in the lineup, but the guys that aren't, they're still finding a way to get back. So, you know, I think that's what I'm most proud of. And, you know, these guys they're all taking care of school well. They're all on track to graduate, and they're all giving back to the team. So that's a great thing. Wrestling,
a sport, you have to deal with adversity. Cooper Moore looks like it could be a season-ending injury. Dylan Peters last year looked like it was a season-ending injury. We have a story coming up about how he battled through that. The character in the room, and each year it's a little bit different. What do you like about the culture that this group has created? And again, we're so early still in the season.
Well, I think, you know, having a guy like Dylan who overcame that, that's you can point to a guy that guys that are teammates with, and it's not like you're some guy you're talking about that they have no clue about, you know, like, hey, we had a guy that is in our room, that was in our room every day, that he overcame a whole lot, you know. So I never write a guy off, and I never will. I don't care what's happened to him. I don't care the injury. There's, you know, there are miracles, things do happen, you know, and a lot, and this thing, man, when this thing's in the right spot, guy's limitless in what they can do. So, you know, your character's revealed and how you'll handle things, and that to me is most important. And when we get a loss, we get adversity, we get an injury, how do we respond to that? You know, how do we move forward? So that's most important to me, and these guys are doing a great job of that.
Let's take a look at the story on Dylan Peters.